Hello everybody, welcome to yet another episode of Cape Rugby TV. Nice to have you along, and of course lots of features tonight. We'll be looking at the Varsity Cup, we'll be looking at the Community Cup. Of course Super 15 is just around the corner, and there's been some other action-packed rugby events in and around Cape Town. On the panel with me this evening, of course, the famous Morgan Newman. Hello Morgs.
How's it, chaps? How you going?
Not too bad.
Good. Awesome rugby weekend, I think, under the belt.
Yeah, no, it's always good. Always good. Nice to see a little bit of Super 15 fever catching up.
Yeah, look, I mean, all the warm-up matches, I think, are under the belt now. I think the Sharks also have one or two more games left. But other than that, the Super 15 starts this weekend with the Australian franchises. So exciting times, I think.
Yeah. Jerome, welcome back.
Hi, JP.
Nice to have you here.
Good to be back again.
Of course, it is Varsity Cup time at the moment. We're action-packed Varsity Cup season right now. Everybody's very excited. And, of course, we're privileged to have Freddie Miller, the vice captain of UWC. Hello, Freddie.
Oud, JP.
Ja, lekker en jy?
Nee, klaar.
Jy het toe vir jou Mara blomme georganiseer.
Ja, sy het my gesê sy het die blomme gekry. 50 rose.
50 rose?
Ja.
Sy is seker happy, né?
Sy is baie bly sy het gekry.
Dis Antoinette?
Nee, Annemarie.
Annemarie?
Ja.
Ek gesê Antoinette, né?
Ja.
Ja. Dit was nou die laaste keer, want jy moes vir die rose gegee.
Ja.
Alright folks, Varsity Cup time it is. Time for us to look at some of the results in the Varsity Cup. Remember, lots of features coming up tonight in the show, so make sure that you have your cell phones handy, because we're going to make sure that you put yourself in line to win some fantastic prizes, courtesy of Evox. And during the show, we're choosing a Cape Rugby t-shirt. Alright, this is going to be up for you for grabs, and we need you to help us choose the right t-shirt. It's been running on Facebook, but we'll catch up with that in a minute or so. Let's take a look now at some of the Varsity Shield results before we move into the Curry Cup. There you can see the results. On Monday night, it was CUT up against Fort Hare, a victory for CUT, 44 points to 29. And of course, on Monday night, in our hometown, UWC beating the University of KZN, 30 points to 15. It was a great result. Freddie, jy is seker happy met daai resultaat, né?
Ons is baie happy na donderdag so verloor. Ons is baie gelukkig met die wen maandag aand. Ons is baie booster, ons confidence booster. So ons kan net volgende week die confidence in die game vat.
Die wind het nog 'n bietjie geblaas maandag aan.
Eerste helfte was taaf om paal toe te skop en veral net die gewone lyn skoppe. Bietjie taaf geweest, maar toe ons saam die wind tweede helfte speel, was dit baie makliker geweest.
Ja, ons het eintlik 'n paar klips van jou. Ons gaan net in 'n minuut of so daarna kyk. In actual fact, let's take a look at some of the highlights of the match between UWC and UKZN, and you can make out for yourself there just how windy it was. It was an exciting match, and of course all the entertainment happening at the Varsity Shield as normal. There you go, folks. That was, of course, Varsity Shield, KZN. Those were the mortal enemy, so to speak, on Monday night. Freddie, as ek vir jou nou vra, die ouetjies hulle kom bietjie UWC toe, maar hulle vergeet daai wind gaan bietjie pomp, en as hy teen jou is, ek het nog min balle gesien oorgaan.
Is moeilik om te skop teen 'n wind. Hulle is nie gewoond aan 'n wind nie. Dis die Kaap. Ons het vier seisoene in een dag. So ons is gewoond as oefen in die wind, so ons is gewoond daaraan.
Jerome, what do you make of the weather at UWC?
I think we're very lucky in a sense that the captain, Charlie, the second game now, that he won the toss.
Yeah.
So we know how to play the wind, and we've changed a bit on how we want to play. The first game, I think we tried to kick into that wind, and it was impossible. Where last night, Peter just said, we're going to run every ball. Nobody's going to kick. And and we said we wanted that 4 tries in the first half. And the guys done pretty well to do that, to get that bonus point within the first half. So I think we're fortunate to train in that wind, and also with the lineouts and everything. If you're not used to that, then you're gone, basically.
Well, from a weather point of view, I mean, you guys play at Newlands. They talk about the weather swirling. When you guys are speaking to the coaches before the games, is there a lot of discussion about weather and tactics?
Look, James, I think a lot of people complain about the weather, and they always have negative things to say about it. But what they've adopted, I think, what most teams have adopted, moving forward now, is the fact that you've got to use the weather to your advantage. I think that the UWC captain on Monday was obviously lucky enough to win the toss. But even if you lose the toss, you have certain game plans that you will instill at certain times of the game, depending on the weather and the wind. At Newlands, it swirls in the one corner, so we know that when you kick off into that corner. When teams get stuck there, they get stuck in that corner.
Yeah.
Obviously, at UWC, it might be different, but at the same time, if you win the toss, you often want to play with the wind. Put the points on the board, and then know that you have a certain game plan to play in that second half that you can use, sort of to keep the possession and kick less.
Freddie, kom ons gaan 'n bietjie na jou toe. Ek meen as julle nou so travel, UKZN, KwaZulu-Natal se universiteit, dat ek meen hulle het afgekom, hulle het nog 'n goeie show gesit. Ek meen dit was nie 'n maklike game nie.
Nee, dit was baie physical. Dit was taag geweest eerste 20 minute. Hulle is 'n paar groot forwards gehad en 'n paar groot backs wat 'n stryd gemaak het op hulle, en dit is moeilik geweest om hulle te keer.
Maar nog steeds nie vir jou gestop nie. Ek sien jy daar 'n bietjie weer geboetse.
Ja, ek het maar my bes te probeer.
Dis nou die nuwe bynaam wat ons vir jou het, die boetse, want jy sny hom by die lyn op.
Eigenlijk was baie physical. Die forwards het die harde werk voorgedoen en dit maklik gemaak vir ons agter.
Ja. Maar as julle nou travel en julle gaan vir byvoorbeeld KZN toe, weet julle wat om te verwag as julle daar kom, want ek dink hierdie ouens van KZN het maandag aan seker geweet van die wind en hoeveel impact dit gaan hê op die game nie.
Is my derde wat ek al speel, so ons weet as ons opgaan in Pietermaritzburg, het baie bedompe gaan wees en is warm en jy sweet baie en alles is taai en nat en dit maak die bal bietjie glipperig. So ons weet eintlik wat om te verwag. Ons speel maar net hard en hardloop hard op hulle, maar as hulle afkaap, dan kom ons nie gewoond aan die wind nie. Dis is hulle eerste paar rounds wat die jaar gespeel het hierso, so is taaf vir hulle.
Right, folks, let's take a look now at the Varsity Cup logs, or at least the Shield logs, and you can see some of the interesting teams here that have moved up and moved down. Of course, CUT are still on top. They're on 13 points. They've played 3 matches and they've won 3. UWC having done almost as well, having played 3 and won 2 of those matches. They've only lost 1 so far, but a great points difference there for UWC. You can see it with a 46-point points difference on 10 points in second place. UKZN in third place on 4 points. Fort Hare's on third, and TUT, the Tshwane University of Technology, are in 5th place on just 3 points. They seem to be struggling a little bit. Wat doen die spanne soos TUT, Jerome? Hoe kom hulle terug?
Ek dink die eerste wedstryd teen UWC was 'n groot teleurstelling vir TUT. En daarvan af was dit net moeilik. Ja. En as jy in die kompetisie, as jy jou tuisgames begin verloor, dan is jy in die moeilikheid.
Ja.
Want dit is bietjie moeilik om weg te speel. En so ek dink vir hulle is dit nou maak of breek. As hulle nou nog een verloor, is hulle basies uit, dan is die seisoen klaar, dan maak dit nie eintlik meer saak nie. So ek dink die ander spanne, soos ons en CUT en Fort Hare en Mate, ek dink dis die 3 spanne wat nog soort van in die run is.
Morgs, I mean, do you agree with Jerome? There seems to be it's almost like a half-season scenario. It's all about the home games. The chances are not great that you're going to win the away games. The travelling conditions and so on is a lot more difficult, and it turns into a half-season. You win them all, or it's game over.
Yeah, look, James. I mean, they'll play. There's 5 teams in the league, and they play sort of 4 at home and 4 away. So I think you stand in good stead if you win your home games and you sort of sneak 1 or 2 away from home. So obviously it's 8 games on the trot, but I mean sort of you win your home games and you sneak 1 or 2 on the road, and you sort of find yourself in a good position to play in the semis and the finals, I think.
Is that the strategy?
Look, in general, I mean, with the Super 15, I know that the guys generally that you work on your home games and you try and win 1 or 2 on the road, and you find yourself in playoff stages. So I think I'm sure that UWC will be adopting the same attitude with the 8 games.
So, ek meen, hoe werk dit vir julle? Ek meen, hoe beplan julle die seisoen? Sit julle, ek meen, julle het al November al begin oefen of selfs miskien voor dit al. Hoe beplan julle die seisoen? Wat sê PDV en Ollie daar by julle?
Ons main focus is om al ons home games te wen en convincing te wen met bonuspunte en al. En as ons ten minste 2 wen, away wen en dan miskien net 'n bonuspunt in een van die 2 games kry, dan lê ons top of the log en dan speel ons home final. En dit is eintlik ons main doelwit vir die jaar. Ja,
vertel ons 'n bietjie van die spelers, julle die ouens in die span. Hoe gaan die span? Hoe is die ouens is almal saam, hulle speel nou al 'n rukkie saam met mekaar?
Ons kom nou al 3 jaar saam met mekaar. So meeste van ons ken mekaar as 1 of 2 ouens wat nuwe ouens wat ingekom het. Maar hulle het goed gedep om saam met ons in die span te wees. En ons bly almal saam. Ons party saam, ons chill saam. So dit is baie lekker vibe. Ons was vir 3 weke op 'n kamp gewees. Ja. Ons lekker gebond en my kameraderie het ons
self gedra.
Ons het vir self gedra.
So now, let me ask you, I mean we've actually looking at the players UWC from last year to this year, and I was watching them play a very attacking style of rugby. They're not afraid to smash a guy on the run. It seems like I mean, they were confident last year, but it seems like there's even a new set of confidence that has come into the players.
Yeah, as Freddie said, what we've done this year a lot is we focus on the basics in the thing that we've got control of, which we know we've got strong ball carriers up front, and we've got guys, steppers at the back. So it's a mixer between the forwards and the backs. The forwards do their work, the backs finish off, and it's a lot of hard work that went into the pre-season, which pay off now. What we want to do and what we want to achieve. Yeah. Focus was a lot on the breakdown, the way the rules are now. Also, I think we're ahead of all the other teams in terms of what you need to do at the breakdown, and our main focus is our defense actually started the breakdown. So we put the team under a lot of pressure there. So there's hardly no teams yet have scored bonus points against us.
I just don't think it's fair that they've got a Western Province coach helping out of the university team. Like
and a former Springbok coach.
And a former Springbok coach. I mean, yeah, but I mean, okay, great stuff. Listen, one of the big things we have to talk about is the entertainment factor. At the Varsity Cup and at the Varsity Shield matches. Freddie, dis allemaal groot jol, né?
Het gaan lekker op die stadium. So, partykeer wens ek was daar op die stadium, so dit om die game te kyk. Maar soos dit klink, gaan het mal op die stadium.
Ja, ek sien julle is maar gefocus op die game. Well, we did look at some of the entertainment there. Of course, Miss Varsity Shield currently running on the campuses, and the guys look like the girls at least, and the guys, they look like they're having a lot of fun. Let's show you some of the highlights of the entertainment at the match UWC against UKZN. Get so much more for so much less at Tata Westenburg, like the new Super Ace 1-ton mini truck. Our special introductory offer begins at only $109,995 from only $1499 per month. With a 60,000 kilometer 3-year maintenance plan, the longest load body in its class, power steering, and so much more. The Super Ace mini truck is powered to take your business places. To find out more, SMS the words Super Ace to 32010 and one of our service consultants will be in touch. Terms and conditions apply.
Tata is a good buy for sure.
Welcome back to Cape Rugby TV, folks. Of course, Wednesday night, 9 o'clock. Stay close to your phone. Some competitions coming up later, and we need to help you choose a T-shirt, so make sure you got your cell phone handy. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the results now from the Varsity Cup. Some interesting results there. It was Tuks beating Ikeys 24-16. Marty's, a good away win for them, 23-15. UJ 37-20 over Pika. And NMMU beating Wits 24 points to 16. Jerome, this is again, we're talking about away wins. You can see here, if we look at the logs in a minute, but you can see, Ikeys are struggling a little bit there. And losing your away games, again, it starts to bite. And you see Marty's top of the log, but what are they doing? They're winning their away games. We see Marty's beating Shimla's. Shimla's a tough team.
Yeah. JP, as I said last week, that you could see the way Marty's want to play and the type of style that Chris Rousseau brought into the pattern and how they want to play. They've got a total different approach on how they want to play, running rugby. And I think that's what the people want at Varsity Cup and the Varsity Shield also. They want to see more tries. That's why they've changed the rules and the points also. So that's what they want to see, and I'm glad that Marty's actually adopted that type of style that they're playing now, and that's why they get bonus points. Where last year they struggled to get bonus points, and they just played with their forwards. Now they played with everybody. They've got a sort of 15 men that run and play.
Yeah. Morgs, I mean, you've played with Chris Rousseau, and of course you were last year. You were at Marty's. I mean, you must be understanding a little bit of what's going on in his head. Jerome talks about the fact that he's brought in a different style of play to what Sean Roux had. What would you say are the kind of things that Chris is bringing into the game that's slightly different? I mean, he's a back.
Yeah, look, I was about to mention that actually. In fact, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, Sean was I must say, he was he loved the running rugby, but he always was adamant about the forwards laying the foundation because he's a forward,
Yeah.
And then Chris comes in, and Chris is a back, so I think he's more about the backs laying the foundation and the forwards playing off that. So. But I mean, look, in general, I think what's happened with Stellenbosch is that side's just matured, after 2 years of playing with that same side and sort of still making it to the final and losing the final last year. That's, I think, half the guys are still the guys that started in the final last year. So yeah. I think Chris has adopted a bunch of talented guys from last year. But again, the running rugby and Chris, in his playing days, if any of the guys have seen him play, he was a good guy that loved to run the ball, had good hands, good skills. And I think that's what he's trying to coach into the players now that he's coaching. So I think Stellenbosch will do really well this year. I think they've got some great backs, and we're only seeing them flourish now because of the style that Chris has wanted to adopt.
Freddie, kyk julle ouens bietjie die Varsity Cup, die ander games?
Nee, ons kyk gereeld maar na ander.
En wat maak jy van die ander spelers? Ek meen, dink jy as julle so na die Varsity Cup kyk en julle kyk na die Shield, voel julle asof daai ouens die senior ouens is of hulle is net lucky om daai toernooi te speel?
Ag nee man, hulle kry kans om daai te speel, hulle moet dit gebruik. Ons wat onderspeel kom daar, ons gaan nou kom. So hulle maar weet reg kyk vir ons. Ons
moet vir jou ook vra, jy het laas jaar gespeel vir die amateur squad. Hoeveel van daai ondervinding? En as 'n paar van julle, JP Kellerman is daar, Jerome, jy kan vir my sê, wie is die ouetjies wat met 'n paar ouens in die amateur squad wat daar by UW's is?
Ja, Freddie het gespeel, JP Kellerman en Charlie wat die kaptein is.
Ja, Charlton van die Haasveld.
Charlton van die Haasveld het gespeel en ook die man of the match gisteraand, Warwick Roder. Hy het gespeel. Ja. So daar was vier van hulle spelers wat daar gespeel het wat
So hoeveel van daai ondervinding van die amateur squad het julle ouens ingebring by UW's?
Ag mens leer nogals baie van die ouens wat super A en super B speel. Jy leer baie van hulle, die klein nitty-gritty van die game.
Ja.
Daai basics wat jy terug na die klub toe, jy ploeg dit maar terug en die ouens wat saam speel en doen baie ondervinding op as jy saam met ouens speel wat daar hoor speel.
Alright folks, let's take a look at the logs now. There you see Marty's are firmly in first place on 10 points. Shimla's are in second place on 6. NMMU on 6. Tuks on 6. University of Johannesburg on 5. Pika on 4. Ikeys on 3. Not doing too well, but I'm sure Ikeys are going to be looking for a bounce back. And Wits in last place, in 8th place on just 1 point. Let's take a look at the fixtures. There you see in the Varsity Shield, it's TUT up against CUT on Monday night. And then University of Fort Hare take on UWC in an away game for UWC. While in the Varsity Cup, it's Shimla's up against Tuks in Bloemfontein. Marties are at home against NMMU. Wits take on or at least take on the Picker in Johannesburg. And Ikeys are playing at home against UJ. So those are some exciting matches there. 2 home games for you, UCT and Marties, for you to go and choose which one you want to watch. But it is a away game for UWC against Fort Hare. Freddy, wat gaan julle verwag daar in Fort Hare? Dit is natuurlijk weer travel. Dit is natuurlijk al die pad naar Alice toe. En dan is het natuurlijk een beetje moeg vliegerij. Wat gaan julle verwag? Gaan julle weg wees voor die game?
Ja, we gaan elke jaar met de conference sites en toe. Alice is maar een klein plekje. Er is een groot crowd wat daar komt. So, we weten actually wat om te verwachten. We gaan net ons beste proberen. Zoals altijd, maar top eindig.
Alright, let's take a quick look at some of the other fixtures there. Jerome, Marties against MMU?
No, at Stellenbosch it's going to be tough for MMU.
Marties,
I think Marties will take
What's
it.
your opinion?
Yeah, look, I mean, Stellenbosch at home. I mean, you know, it's quite a tough task to go to the DC and try and get the results. I think I'll put my money on Stellenbosch for that one.
DC. Yeah, that's a tell us.
Donnie Craven, just.
Donnie Craven, yeah, for die mense wat nou nie weet nie. Right, and of course, Ikeys against UJ. It's a home game. Jerome, Ikeys will definitely be looking to bounce back.
Yeah, as I say, Ikeys last Monday night they were a bit unfortunate not to get their points, but I think also I hope the wind pump there.
Because they're at the GM.
Then they're at the GM. Then they might snatch a win there.
All right. Yeah, Marties are at the DC and the Ikeys are at the GM, which is of course the Green Mile, and UW's at the UW's. Right, folks, that is a wrap of our Varsity Cup feature. Of course, looking at the Varsity Cup and the Varsity Shield. Freddie, thank you very much. We're going to bring in a rugby legend, Mr. Herman Abrams now. He's going to tell us about the Community Cup, and then we're going to start looking at the Super 15, because I know that he's really keen to tear us apart in the Super Brew this year. That's going to be another story. Okay, so Freddie, listen, best of luck for Fort Hare. I know that the whole of Cape Town is behind you guys, and looking at the crowds that are visiting your stadium is very exciting.
Thank you very much, JP. Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going to take an ad break, and when we come back, it's time for us to be joined by the legendary Herman Abrams. We'll start turning our attention to the Community Cup. We'll look at the West Bank Sevens, and of course, Super 15 and the Super Brew predictions that are coming up. Don't forget, keep your cell phone handy. We need you to help us choose a T-shirt. We'll be back with you in a moment.
Get so much more for so much less at Tata Westenburg, like the new Super Ace 1-ton mini truck. Our special introductory offer begins at only $109,995 from only $1,499 per month. With a 60,000 kilometer 3-year maintenance plan, the longest load body in its class, power steering, and so much more. The Super Ace mini truck is powered to take your business places. To find out more, SMS the words Super Ace to 32010 and one of our service consultants will be in touch. Terms and conditions apply.
Tata is a good buy for sure.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Cape Rugby TV. Wednesdays, 9 o'clock, as you know. All right, keep the cell phones handy. Coming up with some interesting features, we're looking for you to help us choose a T-shirt. It's going to be option A, B, C, D, or E. The number you're going to need to SMS to is to 33280. 33280. Okay, so all you need to do is SMS the word rugby and then the choice of your T-shirt, A, B, C, D, and so on. Okay, so it's 33280. You can keep it on your cell phone, keep it handy. Get the cell phone handy, as I say, and choose option A, option B, option C, option D, E, or F. Okay, so it's as easy as that. We just want to make sure you got your cell phones handy right now. Welcoming back onto the panel, the man who helped us create the show and the founder, so to speak. Mr. H, how are things with you?
Fine, JP. I just want to ask you something. How do you expect us to watch rugby when you have all the performances going on a Monday night? You have the dancing girls, you have Profi, you have Bushi, you have the bikini girls, you have the band, you have JP, you have the singing choirs in the fans singing.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get your question. I get your question completely. I can explain it to you. And I think, it's an important question that you're asking. Because I think the important thing here is what you're saying really is that rugby isn't just about playing rugby anymore. It's about entertainment. And that's what we've been working on the clubs with, jumping castles and stuff. Because rugby is, people want more from rugby than just 80 minutes of rugby. You know, they go to the game. If you lose, they didn't get a good game. So what else did they take away from the game? You've got to give value add, and I think in the Varsity Cup, I think that's what you're sort of alluding to.
Yeah, well, except that you could keep the bikini girls onto the field longer, you know.
Well, I think that happens in the oil rugby version of bikini rugby.
Okay.
But it's, you know, I saw a bunch of guys playing in the Cape Town Tens who had their entire uniform made like bikinis.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite work it. I mean, the guy from far away, I was still speaking to Ron Rutland, one of the organizers there, and I was looking from far away, and I said, you know, because a lot of people wear very funny clothes and they come dressed up and whatever. And I looked from far away and I sort of nudged him on the shoulder and I said, oh, look at that idiot over there. He's wearing a bikini. And he sort of looked at me and says, no, that's the uniform. I thought, well, they're wearing a bikini for uniform? That thing's going to get ripped off. And then the closer I got, I realized it was a skin tone shirt with a bikini shape. So a lot of fun and entertainment. And I think there's a lesson for that, for clubs in that, and that is turn your rugby entertainment on, because then you're going to get more crowds there. They're going to come, win or lose, because they're still going to walk away with an experience. Sage?
Yeah, no, it was fantastic to, as you say, you know, if you go away and you've lost, you don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Because you are thinking of all the things that you've seen there and that happened there, and it's quite exciting, you know. I just, you know, when I was sitting there, I thought about our guest earlier, Freddie.
Yeah.
He normally plays scrum half. He played fly half on Monday night, and then when he went up on the side of the field to go, he looked like a first-class wing. So, you know, it's fantastic to have a player like that.
I mean, Jerome is a great talent, Freddie. I mean, we've spoken about him before. We saw some tries, and we saw Freddie in the clip there taking the kick. I mean, and cutting up the line. I wasn't joking about, you know, his ability to step and get through the gaps is just unbelievable.
No, really, he is. And JP, I mean, he played SA under 20. You don't just play SA under 20 for nothing. And he played Province under 20, under 21. So he's really got talent, and he's still young. So I think we really need to look at him at Province now.
I got to just, well, I was going to ask you about that, but Morgs, I just wanted, Jerome touched on the SA under 20. I mean, you played for what, SA under 21s?
Yeah, that's right. I played SA under 21s, Jeff. And, you know, I was just coming back to your point with talking about Freddie, is that, you know what, this is exactly what the tournament is meant to do. I think, you know, if we didn't have the Varsity Shield, let's be honest, we probably not have known about Freddie, you know. So I think that what this tournament, the Varsity Shield, is doing is unearthing a lot of talent that is there, but we haven't really seen, you know. Playing for UWC, the only time we really get to see him is if he plays Varsity, if he plays Vodacom Cup, or if he plays for the amateurs, which is also, there's so many rugby players in Cape Town that we have that are so talented that there aren't enough competitions to see these guys. And now a competition like this has come along, where we can see the best of sort of, you know, the lower guys, as well as seeing the best of the top guys in the Varsity Cup.
So, I mean, so go back to the point, I was asking you about the fact that Freddie played for the SA under 20s, you played for the SA under 21s.
Yes, that's
and you also played for the emerging Springboks. But what would Freddie have learned on those kind of tours and brought back?
Look, James, I think the big thing you learn when you go on tours like that is you learn from the other guys. So, I mean, you're surrounded by a bunch of talented, call it the squad of 30. So you're surrounded by 29 other talented rugby players that have all got something that you might not have. You know, so whether it's a work ethic or whether it's off the field, you know, sort of discipline. Yeah. All these different kinds of attributes that other players will have that you don't necessarily have, you can learn from. And I think that's what I happened to learn from the likes of the Pierce Spices, the Chili Boy Rapeles of this world. When I was playing with under 21s and you're surrounded by all these guys, you know, you take a leaf out of all their books. And I think Freddie, you can see by the way he's playing at the moment, he's obviously gone there, learned from the best, and bring it back and sort of instill it in his UWC team.
Jerome, you mentioned Freddie. You know, he's an SA under 20 player. He played for the amateur squad, Western Province amateur squad. What does a guy like that need to do to play for the Stormers?
Look, he's part of the Vodacom squad at the moment, but unfortunately they are playing in the Vodacom, are only playing later.
Yeah.
So I could just see that he will get an opportunity to play Vodacom Cup this year, and then obviously he will make it into playing Currie Cup.
Because I think the thing that I want to ask you is, you know, UWC last year were playing Premier League A. They got promoted up to Super League B. Are you saying that at Premier League A, Super League B, you have still got a shot to make it into the Western Province structures? Because, you know, the picture we're getting is that the Western Province structures are extremely rigid. They're very well organized from a young age already. And it's quite difficult to break in there because they want to nurture youngsters coming through. So is there still a chance for the likes of Fred to play for Western Province, or even other players in Super League A, Super League B, Premier League A and B?
There's definitely a chance, JP. That's why once the competition start again, then the guys, the selectors will go out again and will identify certain players again, which is going to be form part of the amateurs and the Dizer team. And I mean, look, like we just said earlier on, 4 of the guys of UWC played in the amateur team. And just look at it, you could see the guys that played in the amateur team and what they've learned and what they've taken back to UWC. So it obviously works. So we'll get some more guys again this season.
Yeah, Mr. H, let's turn our attention now to the Community Cup. It's going to be some interesting matches there. Before we talk too much about Durbanville and SK Warmers, let's take a look at the pools. There you see in the pools now, of course, College Rovers are in Pool A against Moelman Shishan from Griekers. SK Warmers are in Pool A up against Dispatch and Worcester. In Pool B, it's Pretoria, the police side there, they're from the Blue Bulls Union. Bloemfontein from the Free State, African Bombers from Eastern Province. Durbanville are in Pool B from Western Province, and Welkom Rovers from the Griffins. In Pool C, Rustenburg Impalas, the BB Truck Noordlikers, the Raiders, the Roodepoort guys, and Bloemfontein from Free State. In Pool D, you see Old Selbornian from Border, Evergreens from SVD, Roses United from Boland, Brakpan from Falke, and White River in Mpumalanga. So the key where we're looking there is in Pool A, it's SK Warmers, and in Pool B, it's Durbanville, of course, otherwise known as Durban. Mr. H, these pool matches, I mean, now the guys know who they're up against. SK Warmers, for example, up against Dispatch, against Shishan, against College Rovers. Those are not easy games, especially being the wild card entry into some of these clubs that are pretty tough.
Yeah, no, it will be tough for them. But, you know, they'll take their chance. They've been given a chance to make it big time. So take the chance that is there for you. And even Durban, I mean, they lost previously to Pretoria Police. And on Saturday, it's going to be a tough one for them.
Okay, let's just stay focused on SK Warmers at the moment. SK Warmers, their first fixture, of course, they've got a bit more time to rest now. So what would they be doing at a time like this?
Well, I think they would just you know, sort of concentrate on getting all their finer points in place. You know, the scrums, the lineouts, make sure that everything is working.
Yeah.
And the management must get their house in order, you know. Make sure that everything is in place. There must be nothing left to chance, you know. You must know that when you come there, this will be in place, that will be in place. The manager must go to the field before the time, check out all the things, so that they know everything will be okay for their players.
We see Durbanville are up against Police. That's their first match this Saturday. Yeah. You've been in touch with the guys from Durbanville. Quite helpful with their information, I think, that they're passing on in terms of making sure that Durbanville's information is on the show. Tell us a little bit about what's happening at Durbanville.
John Loubser, the coach, he's worried that he might not have had enough contact sessions, like playing matches. They played Boland, they played Western Province, the Vodacom teams. He's happy with that, but he said he couldn't get other clubs to play against him because they were all like not prepared yet. It's too early for them. And then he also lost 9 players of last year. Some via through retirement, others left. And but he says his players, young players, all 21, 23-year-olds, and he's hoping that would be great. He's got Tian Skotzer there, who played the flyer for Namibia. I think that would be a great acquisition for them. And he says 3 of his players are involved in Western Province squads. So that also makes it a little difficult for him, because he can't sort of get them out of that squad because they want to play in the Western Province squads also. But he's very wary of his opponents. They're very physical, play typical blue bull rugby, and big forwards. And a guy like the captain, Nico Lees, he's played over 100 games for the Falco already. So it's an experience pack that they are going to meet up there. But he feels they are ready. They played well against Western Province and against Boland.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will take them through for the game.
Let's take a look at the other fixtures then. Of course, it all starts on Saturday, the Community Cup. The Community Cup are the clubs, the best clubs, at least from around the country. So interesting matches coming up over the weekend, starting off with College Rovers against Dispatch. They're playing in Durban. Worcester, Villagers of Worcester are up against Shishan in Worcester. Police, as we say, are up against Durban in Pretoria. It's an away game for Durban. African Bombers take on Welkom Rovers in Port Elizabeth. Impala take on Roodepoort in Rustenburg. Home game there for the Rustenburg Impalas. Noordlikers take on the Raiders in Polokwane. The Old Zimbabwean team take on Brakpan in East London. And Roses United take on White River in Wellington. Mr. H, we get asked quite a lot by the guys in Boland. Why don't we shoot more Boland rugby games? And why aren't we coming out to Stellenbosch and Paarl and so on? I'm still a little bit confused about whether or not Stellenbosch is Boland or Paarl is Boland. But, you know, so we got clubs in Stellenbosch asking us to talk about Boland rugby. But if we look at those two teams there, Roses United against White River, just to give them a little bit of something. Roses United against White River, your opinion?
No, Roses United has been, you know, in this kind of competitions for a long time. So one expects them to do well. They've been at club championships. They've been at other top class events. So I expect that they will do well.
Well, hopefully they'll, of course, all behave themselves on the field as well.
No. They always have. They also come with a band and all those things to the field. So.
The band. Right, folks, that was your Community Cup. Of course, lots of exciting matches coming up in the Community Cup. And we just remind those clubs, SK Warmers, Durbanville, send us your information if you want to pass on the information about what's happening in the Community Cup to the rest of the club rugby fans out there. So hopefully we'll be able to pass on everything that's happening in the Community Cup at the moment. Of course, those clubs are representing you as Western Province in the Community Cup. So hopefully they're going to do pretty well. As we've been saying to you now for the last 3 seasons, we're going to develop a club rugby t-shirt, or at least a Cape Rugby TV t-shirt. We've had tons of requests for this. We've put it out on Facebook. We've had offers to buy t-shirts. Our initial idea was not to buy a t-shirt to give away for people to buy, but rather just to be able to have as a prize. Morgan has been helping us with the Cape Rugby t-shirt. Morgs, this has turned into quite an interesting exercise, and a lot of fans begging for t-shirts.
Look, Jeff, I must say, I mean, the feedback that we've got on Facebook and that kind of thing, the people are really, really excited about, you know, what's to come with the Cape Rugby t-shirt. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see which one they've picked. I think I've done my own little bit of picking quietly on my own. I won't tell you which one I sort of prefer. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think there's a lot of feedback and people must vote. I think it's going to be interesting.
Okay, so we're trying to choose the t-shirt that is the best for the show, the best for you as a Cape Rugby TV fan, and that you can wear at the games. And so what we need you to do is help us choose a t-shirt. For those of you that haven't been involved, you can go to Facebook, the Cape Rugby TV site, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV, and you can see it on the bottom of your screen right now. So we need you to grab your cell phone right now. 33280 is the number that we need you to SMS us on. The keyword is rugby. So you simply start off your SMS to 33280 with the word rugby, space, and then the letter of the t-shirt you want us to look at. Okay, so hopefully through your input, this is called crowdsourcing, we're going to be able to choose the absolute best t-shirt that is available. We're going to give you a couple of seconds now to look at each t-shirt. Right. Let's quickly put them all up on the board, and you can see all the t-shirts together there. Those are your options. Option A, Cape Rugby TV, Wednesday 9 p.m. Cape Rugby TV, Wednesday 9 p.m. CTV. Option C, Cape Rugby TV, Loving Club Rugby, Wednesday 9 p.m. And then option D, Looking After Club Rugby, of course, at Cape Rugby TV, at the top there, that's the Twitter handle. Option E, the Cape Rugby logo with the @ sign, which indicates Twitter. Cape Rugby TV, Loving Club Rugby. And then option F, Cape Rugby TV at Cape Rugby TV Wednesday 9 p.m. Well, we hope you managed to see all those pictures of those t-shirts. I know that they were pretty quick. 33280. Option A, option B, option C, D, or E. Choose your favorite t-shirt. And if you haven't seen it now on the show, remember you can go to Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV, and you can choose it right there. So give us your opinion. Which one do you like? Those are going to be some prizes up for grabs during the Cape Rugby TV season, and we look forward to making sure that you see those t-shirts up for grabs and that you can wear them at your club. What do you make of that, Mr. H?
Well, we have a model here. Why don't we model the t-shirts for us?
Smokes, you want to model the t-shirts?
Jeff, so if people want to see that, I'll do it. As long as Mr. H is going to wear one of the options with me, I'll do it.
Lots of rugby actions. Yes, you guys have lost the plot altogether. Yeah. Lots of rugby action, of course, and it's all getting started. Super 15 is coming up soon. In a second or so, we'll take a look at the Super 15 fixtures that's coming up this weekend, as well as Super Brew. But in addition to the professional tournaments, there are also some exciting other rugby tournaments. As you saw last weekend, it was the Cape Town 10s, and there was tag rugby, and we managed to cover that. And at the moment, there's also lots of other little organisations hosting some tournaments. One of the tournaments that took place over the weekend, and we got some pictures of the tournament there, was the West Bank Sevens. Exciting tournament there with some interesting results. In the cup final, it was West Bank losing to Marty's 22 points to 20. In the plate final, St. George's losing to UWC 12 points to 10. And in the bowl final, it was Eerste Rivier 22 points to 5. Let's take a look at some of the photographs of the West Bank Sevens. Some interesting picks there from West Bank Sevens, and nice to see these tournaments going on. Let's quickly touch on the HSBC Sevens. We're so proud that South Africa winning the Cup final in Las Vegas. And one of the boys that has been on the panel with us, of course, Paul Delport. Paul Delport now in his 10th season of Sevens rugby and making the guys so proud. It was fantastic to see him then. Of course, Paulie is a regular member of the Cape Rugby TV panel. We're hoping to get him on as soon as they land back from Las Vegas. Morgs, it was a pretty serious and an entertaining set of Sevens rugby.
Yeah, James, I must say, I don't think you had very many people sleeping on Sunday night with all the sort of Sevens action that was on. But you know what I mean? Like a week in Sevens rugby is a lifetime, James. I mean, if you know that the week before in Wellington, I think it was Wellington, they couldn't win it. I mean, they lost to Kenya, they lost to Canada, they lost to all these teams, and then a week later they fly across to Las Vegas. I don't know what it is with America and Las Vegas, but I mean, they completely annihilated every side they played against. I mean, to beat New Zealand 41-20 in the final is a feat in its own, and to see what New Zealand did to Fiji in their semi-final, I thought really South Africa sort of, were against the ropes. But
sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, we saw the likes of Fiji and Samoa, all these teams who are traditionally the big winners, and South Africa gave Samoa in hiding.
Look, James, I think what Paul True is doing with the seven side and down in Stellenbosch is unbelievable work. I think the fitness alone of that side is something really to behold. And if guys are around in Stellenbosch, go down and check out the Oaks train. I've seen it, and Paulie will be on the show hopefully soon, and he'll be able to tell you that these guys, they train 5 days a week, sort of, same working hours, 8 to 5. So they're really putting in the hard work, and I think they're reaping the rewards now.
One of the things you mentioned to me last week, and you've played quite a lot of Sevens rugby yourself, is that the players that are successful are fairly big Sevens players. But I was looking at some of the Samoan players, or at least some of the Fiji players, and it looks like some of these players are getting smaller. Even the French guys, They are not as big as they used to be. It seems to be a much, much faster version of rugby than it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, Jason, I must say, I definitely think that Sevens rugby is evolving. And you know, there is still space for the bigger, slightly slower guy. But in general, I mean, you look at all the teams across the board now, even the New Zealanders who are also well known for having the big, powerful, powerful runners. I think they're all going to the smaller, quicker, more skillful guys. And South Africa is, I mean, winning in Vegas with, I think, if you weigh up put all the weights together, probably the lighter side in the competition. So, I mean, there's a new guy, I'm not too sure what his name is, but an unbelievable sevens player. I mean, and he weighs something, I saw on TV, I think he weighed like 79. So, a real quick, skillful guy, and they're getting away with it now.
Great talent in that team. That Branko de Preer, is it Chris Dyer?
Chris Dry.
Chris Dry.
Colby, Cheslin Colby.
Cheslin Colby, that's right.
Cheslin Colby.
Cheslin Colby. Jerome, let me ask you, the tactics in sevens seems to be much more important now. Every second of the game counts. If there's a yellow card, the guys don't just stroll off the field, they sprint off the field. When they get to take a change, they race back onto the field. Every second counts, because even when you're ahead of the game, you can still win that game in the last 30 seconds quite easily, because it's so easy to get turnover and win. It looks like the coaches are not just coaching runs and drills and tackles anymore. They train little techniques to make sure, like flip passes and back passes, getting the ball quickly out of the scrum, making sure they do anything to take a 7-man team and turn it into an 8 or a 9-man team.
Yeah, it looks like, JP, if you look at also at the breakdown now, I see a lot of teams put quite a lot of emphasis on the breakdown, because if you win a turnover and they've got 2 or 3 guys on the floor, then obviously it's points. So you could see that a lot of teams, though the guys are not as big anymore, but the technique and the things and the skill, as you said, they focus a lot on that, and it's quick ball, and they're still physical, but it's just technique.
Very
Everything
fast.
is just technique, and it's and the discipline also. In the past, you would see a lot of penalties and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how disciplined they are. And I know they know. I think the emphasis is a lot on the rules also. They know their rules.
Yeah, most.
No, Jez, you talk about 2 minutes. I mean, you talk about time, but I don't know if people know that if you get a yellow card, you're off the game for 2 minutes, but 2 minutes only starts once a guy puts his backside on the seat. So that's why you'll see guys get a yellow card and they're running off the field sort of as if they, but as soon as they put bums on seats, that's when the 2 minutes start.
I noticed that there's a lot less arguing with the referee when he shows a yellow card.
Yeah, because I mean they want to get the time starting as quickly as possible.
It's actually a system we should have in the Super Rugby, in the normal rugby. I don't see anything wrong with that. Shut up and get off the field. You've nothing to say to the ref. Once he's giving you the card, get out.
It's also a penalty if it's a penalty against you and you have the ball and you throw the ball away. It's a penalty and you can get a yellow card also.
Yes,
so
in actual fact, I saw one of the players
Samoan players got that,
in Samoa, the Samoan match there. And I mean, imagine if this was football, it would turn into a 3-hour match. Every time they show a card, especially those Manchester United players, because they have so much back, they've got something to say about everything.
Are you sure Manchester United, not Liverpool, James?
No, it's Manchester United.
Liverpool
It's Manchester
don't do
United,
things like
And in fact, it's not just Manchester United players that are something to say about everything. It's the fans as well. But I mean, that's what happens when you choose a team because you saw, the logo on the back of a taxi. So let's move along now. It is the Super 15 time, and it's time for us to take a look at the Super 15. But before we do the Super 15, right, we're going to show you a quick clip of what it is that we want you to upload on Facebook for us. And you can put yourself on TV, all right? We want a clip from you that says, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, and you're watching Cape Rugby TV." So this is some of the videos that we're making for the season. We want to put them together. We want to flight them, all right? So let's look at some of the clips of some of the guys that we got at the Cape Town 10s.
I'm Lapi Lee from Western Province Rugby, and you are watching Cape Rugby TV.
Hi, I'm Tim Swell from Western Province Rugby, and you're watching Cape Rugby TV.
I'm Gerard Scholes from Tag Rugby, and you're watching Cape Rugby TV.
Hi, I'm Mark Barr, Director of South African Rugby Legends. You're watching Cape Rugby TV.
I'm Peter Miller, and you're watching Cape Rugby TV.
Hi, I'm Kobani Bobo, and you're watching Cape Rugby TV.
Hi, I'm Munib Levy from Western Province Rugby, and you're watching Cape Rugby TV.
Hi, I'm Bob Skinson, and you're watching Cape Rugby TV.
So those are your clips. It's very easy to do. Just make sure you do it nice and neatly. Get a friend there, upload it on your cell phone onto Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. Let's take a look now at some of the results in the Super 15. Friendlies, of course, have just been up and going. And this weekend, it is the start of the Super 15 officially. Some of those results then, it's the Sharks 71-8 against the Leopards, the Bulls 32-10 against the Cheetahs, the Boerland team losing against the Stormers, that was the Cape Town Stadium over the weekend, 57-0. And one of the other friendlies was the Lions beating the Southern Kings 41-31. So interesting matches there. Jerome, the Kings 31 lost for them against the Lions 41-31. The Kings were way behind at one stage. They haven't started playing their main players. Are the Kings going to lose every single match in the Super 15?
I think they are, but
hold on, stop it, clock, stop it, Lucy. All right, I'm going to lay my bet on that one.
And also last week there was a lot of things in the media about the Kings not playing their stronger side against the Lions. Because of the Lions got relegated and the Kings is like now playing Super Rugby. So I think they were a bit scared to play the best team. So now they can say, look, we've played our second stringers against this guy. So that's why we lost this game. And I know they play this week, they play against Griquas again, which is also going to be tough. But I think it's unfortunate for the Lions because the way the Lions are playing now with no-name brands, they play good rugby, and it's sad that they're not there. But well done to the Kings, and hopefully they can do something.
They didn't. I mean, quite frankly, the Kings didn't get into the Super 15 because they played good rugby. They got into the Super 15 because of political decisions. And to be honest, I've got a feeling that the crowd isn't going to like this. We might have a system in South Africa, and it might not be perfect, but it is the system. And the crowd, the one thing that they say is, don't manipulate the system. So I've got a feeling that the Kings are in for a social media surprise. Not to mention the fact that there might be a little bit of booing on the side of the field, because I think that there's a lot of people very unhappy about the fact that the Kings are in the Super 15. Look, they are there, but are they doing what they're there for in terms of development and transformation? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see, and I think we'll leave that up to the South African public. Mr. H, the Stormers, good victory for them over Boerland, 57-0 at the Cape Town Stadium. I know the weather changed. What will the Stormers be pulling out of this as a win?
Well, one must also take into consideration that the opposition wasn't that, organized.
Yeah.
But their set pieces all looked very well organized, ours, the Stormers. And I think for me, the outstanding thing was the return of Nick Groom. When he came onto the field, immediately there was a lot of movement in the back line, and they scored a lot of tries.
Yeah, he's got a fantastic feed.
Yeah.
I love his feed. He really is a very quick and nippy little scrum off. Let's take a look at our Super 15 fixtures coming up over the weekend. There you see it's the Rebels and the Force. That's the first game on Friday at 22:11. And then the Brumbies and the Reds, also at 20:11, but that is on Saturday. Big matches. Super Brew time. Now have you started jumping on the Cape Rugby TV Super Brew panel? Players and posers. You can see the slide right now. Players and posers. If you're a Super Brew pool member on the Cape Rugby TV panel, you'll be able to win for yourself some fantastic prizes courtesy of Western Province Rugby. You can win yourself a signed DHL Stormers jersey, 2,000 Rands worth of Evox products, or in third place, 1,000 Rands worth of Evox products. Players and posers, that's what it is. Join the Cape Rugby TV Super Brew pool. All right. So, and of course, now it's opportunity once again for our panel members to make their selections. So, this is where it starts, gentlemen. This is what we've been waiting for. Are you a player or are you a poser? We'll start off with, we'll keep it light for now. It's the Rebels up against the Force. Morgs.
Yes, you caught me off guard here, James. I'm going to go Rebels by 5.
Jerome.
I'll go Force by 12.
Mr. H.
Rebels 7.
I will go Rebels by 7. Mr. H has obviously done his homework. All right, then. And then, of course, on Saturday, we see the Brumbies take on the Reds. Morgs.
James, Brumbies at home. Although I think the Reds are going to do well this year, I'm going to go Brumbies by 3.
Jerome?
Reds by 6.
Mr. H?
Reds 8.
Reds 8. I think I'm going to join Morgs on this one and probably go down in the posing section as opposed to being a player. And I'll go with the Brumbies, and I'm going to go Brumbies by 15. All right, Brumbies by 15. There you go, folks. Don't forget to join us, as I said, on Facebook. We're looking for your little clip. We're looking to have you on TV. That's a wrap of the Cape Rugby TV show. Mr. Morgan Newman, have a fantastic rugby weekend.
Thanks, James. You too.
Jerome?
Thank you, JP.
Mr. H?
Thank you, sir.
Looking forward to a lot of rugby?
Yes, yes, I'll be glued to
the screen.
Wherever I must watch and wherever I must go to go and see.
100%. Well, there's so much to go and see. Yeah. All right, folks, that is a wrap from us. And of course, our closing line at Cape Rugby TV is have yourself a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.